Hello, Saints. We're still in Galatians. We're beginning in chapter 2, where Paul goes down to the Council of Jerusalem. It says, "And then after an interval of 14 years, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas." So this is the first time he went with Cephas, Peter. That was after 3 years. Now we're 14 more years advanced. He goes up to Jerusalem with Barnabas, taking Titus along with him. Says, "It was because of a revelation that I went up, and I submitted to them the gospel which I preached among the Gentiles. But I did so in private to those who were of reputation, for fear that I might be running, or I had run in vain. But not even Titus, who was with me, though he was Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. But it was because of the false brethren secretly brought in, who had sneaked in to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, in order to bring us onto the bondage. But we did not yield in subjugation to them for even an hour, so that the truth of the gospel would remain with you. But from those who were of high reputation, what they were makes no difference to me. God shows no partiality. For those who were of reputation contributed nothing to me." He's talking about the apostles. "But on the contrary, seeing that I had been entrusted with the gospel to the uncircumcised, just as Peter had been to the circumcised. For he who effectually worked for Peter in his apostleship to the circumcised, effectually worked for me also to the Gentiles. And recognizing the grace that had been given to me, James and Cephas and John, who were reputed to be pillars, gave to me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship, so that we might go to the Gentiles, and they to the circumcised. And they only asked us to remember the poor, the very thing I was eager to do." And so here, this Council of Jerusalem, Paul is able to have a united effort with the apostles, and that the gospel he was preaching was the gospel they were preaching. Wasn't something different. They weren't the Judaizers. Some people have thought maybe it was the apostles teaching the Jewish gospel version, and Paul was teaching something different. But no, they had no problem in what they were teaching. It says the only thing they said to Paul was, "Hey, we want you to remember the poor," which Paul says, "I was always eager to do that." And we know about the collection that he had for the Jews during the famine, that he got the money from the Gentiles in an effort to bring Jews and Gentiles together within the church. And so this was very important here that we see established. There was a unity within the church that was teaching the same gospel message through and through. Paul to the Gentiles, Peter to the Jews. Blessings.